down a little
Yeah,
bit.
it's still not the dynamic section of the economy.
Based on the low rates we have.
Yeah,
that's the
right.
problem. The inventory's not there.
Come on.
Yep.
All right, back to the markets. They're all down because of the coronavirus. George C. is with us, Allendale Capital chairman. We hear a lot of talk that black swan, you know, the event that you cannot forecast suddenly hits you from nowhere and takes the market down. Is this a black swan?
Not yet, and I think CDC will play a large role in containing this around the rest of the world. We haven't been hearing how it's about a 99% China-contained situation, and it's a tragedy for that country, but it really hadn't gone anywhere else. And I think there's a lot of nervous Nellies in the market right now, having watched it rally 11 years in a row, looking for this black swan to take them out. And they've got 1 foot in the market, kind of 1 foot out, but so far this isn't it.
We were talking about this during the break with our producers. It's an orderly sell-off. Can you put it like that?
You can, and
not
actually
a panic
come
sell-off
back
by any means.
There's no panic. People are trying to induce panic, but it's not working yet because people look at the facts and realize this is no black swan.
I suspect that there could be some buying. Some brave souls who will toe in the water and buy something.
Well, especially as earnings come out this week, and if people see good earnings, that'll be their catalyst to buy back in and push it back up.
Hold on a second, George, because I want to know more about these earnings reports. The big tech guys come out this week.
Huge. Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Facebook. If you're looking at the calendar, it's actually Apple who goes first on Tuesday. So a lot of people are going to be wondering, okay, how did the iPhone sell? How are the services going? How are these new AirBuds that sold like crazy, the AirPods, over Christmas? So there's going to be a lot of questions. Is Apple being successful in going from a hardware company to a hardware and services company? Big question for them. Microsoft and Amazon, it's all about the cloud.
Yes, it
Just
is.
how are they doing as they face off against each other? And then, of course, Facebook, which is the most interesting of the FANG stocks, the best performing, discounting Apple, I should say, last year, the Teflon stock. Crisis after crisis, PR problem after PR problem. And it was still the best performing FANG stock, again, excluding Apple last year. And of course, most recently, the problem with that WhatsApp feature, right, is part of the Jeff Bezos hacking story.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So a lot of people just being reminded, okay, maybe when they communicate, not quite so sure.
Yeah, okay. I was just trying to think of something about Microsoft there.
With Azure, I mean, that's really the story. I mean, they have just been...
is the cloud.
Yes, and they have been really encroaching on Amazon's territory, and they have been winning business. And they won a pretty big business, a pretty big contract, rather, with the U.S. government at Amazon's expense. So a lot of investors are going to be really focused on how fast that cloud business is growing for Microsoft.
So, George C., it occurs to me that if any of these big tech companies don't come through with a stellar report and blows it out the park, if they don't do that, they're in trouble. What do you
They're
think?
going to get a hit if they don't do that. I would say, though, that Microsoft's cloud business is incredibly strong, and people are expecting very good results there, and they're also expecting Apple to have a really good quarter. So I expect this quarter, the bears who want them to disappoint may be disappointed in the case of those stocks.
You know, you could have some people buying those stocks now. Amazon is at 1832. Well, that's down over $150 from where it was a couple of weeks ago. Microsoft is at 161. I sold too early. I sold at 159, but that's me for a start. I can see people buying today.
Sure, absolutely. As long as the economy doesn't slow down, as long as they don't disappoint on their earnings, they're very viable, especially when they give some back.
What about the other side of the coin, which is the market's gone straight up for a long time now, and everybody thinks you've got to have a pullback. You've got to have a pullback. And this virus is the excuse to pull back, an excuse for a correction. There is that point of view.
I think the virus has got to get a lot worse for it to be a true pullback. We've given back a couple of points, but you're going to have to see a lot more people perishing, and it's getting a lot worse for this to turn into a real economic slowdown, fear of pullback. And I would say the Center for Disease Control in Atlanta is one of the great jewels of America. It's the finest disease prevention outfit in the entire world, and I hope the Chinese have the humility to ask them to come in and help with this problem if it gets any worse, because the Chinese haven't handled it well so far.
11:30 this morning, the conference call, that could move the market, I suspect.
Absolutely.
George C., thanks for joining us. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much.
Stuart.
Big day. Now, complete.